Can shortcuts be as powerful as an AI agent? Let's find out. I was challenged by Anil Dash on Blue Sky to make an open claw without the risk. So I made a tech news aggregator that pulls from a ton of RSS feeds and gives you a daily report in Apple Notes. Another shortcut pulls all the long-form YouTube videos from your favorite channels, allowing you to skip the algorithm and just see what's new on YouTube today. Generate high-quality wallpapers using Google's latest Nano Banana model directly in shortcuts. I built one that shows you the entire Fortnite item shop in a shortcut, and a ton more. And if you like these, get even more shortcuts content in my community. We're only 21 people away from 4,000 total members, but become a member supporting me and this channel, and you get access to my weekly shortcuts live streams where I build new shortcuts right in front of you. Search across the thousands of shortcuts I've built in my shortcuts database. And a brand new benefit for members, watch all my YouTube videos ad-free, no sponsors, available to current members, and you can get those by joining today. So scan this QR code or go to shortcut.bot, join the community, get my ad-free videos, tons of shortcut content, and interact with thousands of other shortcuts enthusiasts. All right, let's get into it. I call this first shortcut Today's YouTube Videos. If you just want to see the latest long-form videos from your favorite channels, put it together in an Apple Note, you can automate this shortcut to run once a day, say at 6 or 7 p.m. It's going to get the latest videos from your favorite channels, the thumbnail, and a link directly to watch that video, and then it's going to create an Apple Note with the thumbnail, video title, who's it by, and a link to just watch that video right here. So you can skip the algorithm, just see all the long-form videos from your favorite channels, then just tap one of the links and it'll jump right to that video. Now, I've added a bunch of my favorite tech channels here in this text block, but if you would like to add your own, I'll put a link to this website. All you have to do is put in the full channel URL or the handle if you know it, like @mkbhd, click search, and this is going to provide you with all the RSS feeds for your channels, and you can pull just the long-form videos, just the shorts, live streams, or even a specific playlist. Then if you want to add that channel to this shortcut, just go to the bottom of this text block, or you can delete it all and start from scratch, and then just paste that new RSS feed here at the bottom on its own line. Then you'll start pulling videos from that channel as well. Links to all the shortcuts I talk about in this video are down in the video description. Now that one doesn't require Apple Intelligence, so you can run it on any device, but this next one does. I call this my Tech News Aggregator. This is also based on RSS feeds. I've added a bunch of tech news websites RSS feeds here in the top text block. Same method, just add another RSS feed at the bottom if you'd like to check another website, and it's going to get up to 50 items for every day. Then when you run it, it's going to send all the articles to ChatGPT through the Apple Intelligence action. It's going to look for duplicates and then prioritize news stories based on the frequency that they're covered across those news sources. It takes a minute to run, but once it's done, it's going to identify the top 5 stories for today and then create an Apple Note with today's date, tech news, and it's going to give you the title and a summary of the top news stories and a link to one of the tech sources that was pulled in those RSS feeds. And you'll see it's going to vary those sources. So here's a Mac Rumors article. There was a Verge article at the top. Here's another one from 9 to 5 Mac. And this is just pulling the news stories from today. Again, if we jump into this shortcut, you can add more news source RSS feeds here at the top. And if you want, you can change the publish date. So we can say something like in the last 1 day, and now it's going to pull all the news stories for the last 24 hours rather than just today's date. And now we have another report. This is now in the last 24 hours. We have a TechCrunch article here, one from Mac Rumors, 9 to 5 Mac. And every day, ChatGPT is going to use the frequency that a story was covered across all those news websites and give you the top stories in your Apple Note. Next, Nano Banana has become really powerful for image generation, and you can actually use it directly here in shortcuts. So here I've connected it to the Nano Banana API. It's going to ask for an image prompt. Give me an image of a medieval knight riding a polar bear into battle. As you can see, medieval knights riding polar bears, kind of a bit of a mascot, especially for primary technology. That's my tech podcast, link above and down below. Now you will need to get your API key. Then in a few seconds, I have a Nano Banana image generated right here. I can tap the share button. I can save this to my camera roll, set it as my wallpaper or to files, and now I can generate an image whenever I want from shortcuts. Now you do need your own API key for this shortcut to work, so go to Google's AI Studio. I'll put a link to this down in the video description. It's easy to get an API key. You do need to be on one of the paid plans for Google AI. Then once you get your API key, just jump into the shortcut and paste it here in this text block. You'll see it's right above the set API key variable. But once you do that, you can download my next shortcut, which lets you generate iPhone wallpapers using Nano Banana. So when I run this shortcut, I can select what kind of wallpaper I want, different sceneries, or just a nice color gradient. It's going to send that with a prompt to Nano Banana with specific pixel resolution so it matches the iPhone. And in a few seconds, I'm going to get a brand new wallpaper. I can see it here in quick view, and then it's going to bring up the share sheet so I can save it to my camera roll, set as my wallpaper, whatever I'd like to do with it. I'll run it again. This time, let's choose one that's mountains. And again, it's sending that with a prompt to Nano Banana. And now we have a nice mountain wallpaper. We can share it or save it. Now, if we jump into this shortcut, same thing, jump down to the API key step and then input your Google API key right here in the text block. But then at the very bottom, instead of sharing this image, you could just choose to set it as your wallpaper. Choose the Set Wallpaper Photo action. You're going to have to tap here and choose your wallpaper lock screen combination that you want to change. I'll actually choose my filming focus mode, which I'm in right now, and I want to change the lock screen and the home screen at the same time. Then you can automate this to run every morning and it will change your wallpaper without you doing anything. I'm going to take out the quick look action, so it's not even going to show me a preview. And this time I'll run the shortcut. Let's choose Ocean and let's see if it sets the wallpaper automatically without me doing anything. And just like that, it generated an image. It's ready for me to set as a wallpaper. I'll tap done and we're good to go. Now it was showing a preview, which then requires action. So I'm going to toggle the show preview off. Let's run this one more time. This time I'll select waterfall. Let's swipe home and now it should change my wallpaper and it won't even show me a preview. It'll just happen without any action. And there we go. Wallpaper changed without me doing anything. Next, I have a powerful shortcut to be your outboard brain and one that can transcribe quick voice memos, both of them powered by AI. And that's actually where today's sponsor comes in, Masterclass. I love so many of the offerings from Masterclass, especially watching Hans Zimmer and his music composition class, plus Chris Voss in negotiation. But now Masterclass is launching Masterclass certificates. And if you want to learn more about AI, especially in the workplace, and how you can develop skills that will be more valuable in the future, you can enroll in the new Masterclass certificates with their AI Fundamentals course. This course is for professionals who want to gain confidence in how to contribute to big AI decisions, the skills to apply AI in real work, and the proof to back it up. As AI becomes more pervasive in the workplace, it's going to be critical to understand how you can use AI tools and how to implement them in your small business or even large company to give you an advantage and help you work better and smarter. And that's exactly what the AI Fundamentals course offers from Masterclass certificates. You're going to learn the essential concepts of generative AI, learn how to stay ahead as AI evolves, which can feel like it's really tough with AI moving so fast, but Masterclass certificates can help. Create your own AI integration framework and apply AI accurately and responsibly in your role, whether it's a leadership and decision-making role or just using the AI tools to get work done. You're going to be doing hands-on activities and have capstone projects that will be portfolio ready that you'll be able to use as you apply to jobs in the future. So scan this QR code right here and sign up and enroll to Masterclass Certificate's AI Fundamentals course. It's going to give you an advantage and help you take the next steps in developing those AI skills in whatever your field of work. And trust me, AI is going to be touching pretty much every field of work very soon. So scan this QR code or click the link down in the video description and enroll in Masterclass Certificates AI Fundamentals. My thanks to Masterclass for sponsoring this video. Next, there's lots of Mac and iPhone utilities that simply allow you to record some audio, it transcribes and summarizes it, and then adds it to an Apple Note. Well, this shortcut can do the same thing and you can run it from any of your Apple devices. If you want all these voice notes to be saved to a specific folder in Notes, then here in the very bottom action, just choose a folder right here. Then every time you run it, it's immediately going to start recording. So maybe this is a note about the things I have to do today, like edit this shortcuts video. I want to make sure to set it to publish on Saturday. Also want to check the comments in the shortcuts community, build any of the priority requests. And I'm also getting ready to publish the Mac Power Users podcast, which is my other show with David Sparks. You can scan this QR code or the link is down in the description. And I'm going to stop this recording. And now Apple Intelligence is actually going to transcribe that voice memo, summarize it, and then create an Apple Note with all that information. And you can see it intelligently titled that note, Daily Tasks and Podcast Publishing Plan. Here's my actual transcript verbatim and a short summary if you had a longer voice note. So if you record longer voice notes, you can still get a summary right here. You can also run this on the Mac and even add it to your menu bar to run super fast. If you didn't know, you can actually have multiple control centers. So if I click up here, open my control center, I can click Edit Controls, and then there's actually a little plus icon which allows me to create an entire other control center that will just house shortcuts or any of the great third-party app actions you can add to your menu bar as well. I actually have multiple of these menus. Here's some shortcuts for primary tech, and here's some other shortcuts for videos, but I can edit these controls, and then let's add another shortcut to our menu bar. I'll add the quick voice memo to Note, which is linked in the description along with all the other shortcuts. And now if I want to create that quick voice memo to Note right here on my Mac, just click in my menu bar, quick voice note memo, and now it's actually recording. And I could say, also need to read a book this weekend for a podcast the next week. And I'm actually going to see Nate Bargatze with the family on Saturday. Then you can click stop on this little voice memo recording. It's going to transcribe and summarize it in the background. And you'll see it's going to create a note in just a moment. There's my weekly planning and personal activities note ready to go. Unfortunately, it doesn't run on the Apple Watch because the watch can't transcribe audio, but it'll run on your iPhone, Mac, and iPad. Next, I've created different versions of this make note of this shortcut. This is similar to my remember this shortcut, but we're going to call this the stream of consciousness. Anytime you see something on screen on your iPhone and you want to save it to an Apple note, it's actually going to create a note called stream of consciousness or append that note if it already exists. You can change that note title here in this first action. But then depending where you are, it's actually going to take a screenshot, or if you're in Safari, it will actually get the URL of the website you're looking at. It's going to extract some information along with context that you provide and append that to the note. Someone sent me this Mac utility called Coconut Battery, and I want to remember this. Well, the best place to run this is from the Control Center. Here's the make note of this shortcut. Again, you can add shortcuts to your Control Center just like on the Mac. When I run it, it's going to ask if I want to provide any additional context. I'll say, someone on YouTube sent me this app. Then, because I'm in Safari, it's actually going to capture what's on screen, which is the URL to this specific web page, and it's going to add it to my stream of consciousness note. And here you see it has a saved on today's date and time, a title of what this is, explains what's in the screenshot, and here's a link back to that page that I was talking about. But this works anywhere. So let's say you're in a text message and you want to add this to your stream of consciousness. I'll run that same shortcut here in the Control Center. My context is we decided on tacos for lunch. I'll tap done. It's going to take a screenshot and it's going to find whatever text or information is on screen, add that to my stream of consciousness Apple Note, and it will even take information like who was the contact in that text message and explains it shows a poll between tacos and sushi, also pulled any other URLs and locations that might have been visible on screen. And again, this will work in any app wherever you are. Next, I've shared a lot of renaming file shortcuts, especially with Mac automations. You can watch my Mac automation specific video here that came out with macOS 26. And I will admit, this is something that Claude Cowork is actually better than shortcuts in Apple Intelligence. You can watch my video on Claude Cowork. I'll link that above and down in the video description. But I made this shortcut, which doesn't run as an automation, so it's a little easier to manage. You can just download it and run it right out of the box. Select a folder that you might want to rename all the files in based on the content, and this is going to identify the file type. If it's an audio file, it will transcribe, provide the transcript to Apple Intelligence to summarize. If it's a PDF or a Word document, it will get the contents of that document and then have it summarize, and then provide a name based on that summary. And if it's an image file, it will extract any text from that image and rename based on that. So it should cover most file types. If you have some weird file types like raw images or other video files, just add it in one of these if any are true statements and add your file extension, no period. So you see here I have a folder with various kinds of files. I have an MP3 file, some image files, and a PDF. And when I run this shortcut, which is rename all files in folder, I can choose that specific folder, which I called screenshots. And then it's going to go through every file in that folder. It might ask permission for some of the files, so be ready to click always allow. But as you can see, it's renaming each file based on the file's content, images, audio, PDFs, and documents. And you can see everything's now nicely named right here. All right, I still have 13 more shortcuts to get to, so let's consider this a lightning round. I did want to tell you about a new action coming in iOS 26.4. Beta 2 is out right now, but we do have a set battery charging limit action. So once it's out for everyone and you search for battery, you'll see set battery charge limit is an option right there. You can go all the way down to 80% or choose in increments of 5. And if you expand this action, you can also choose to set until tomorrow, and then it will reset back to 100% the day after. Next, someone in the shortcuts community asked about a stock calculator. This shortcut will ask how much you want to invest, a stock symbol, and use Yahoo Finance's current data for the latest stock prices, and let you know how many stocks you can actually buy. So how much do you want to invest? We'll say $1,000. It'll ask what stock symbol, we'll say Apple, and then it's going to quickly show you with that investment amount, you can purchase 3.7 shares with the stock symbol right there. Next, I discovered that the video to GIF shortcut that's actually here in the gallery, which is on everybody's phone and you can just download these shortcuts directly from Apple, it actually doesn't work. So I created this video to GIF. So if there's any videos in your camera roll you want to make it into a GIF, well, just choose the video here, and it will make an animated GIF of whatever video you choose. Next, my son checks the Fortnite item shop pretty much every day, and so I wanted to know if with a shortcut, can you just pull all the current items? Well, Fortnite actually has a free API that you can use, and what this shortcut does is just gets all the current items in the Fortnite shop, gets the image and the V-Bucks price, and it's going to show it in a nice little mini website here. This shows me all the items, it shows me the V-Bucks, and you can even pinch and zoom to get a better look at these. Now what this is actually doing is creating a little HTML file that lives in your shortcuts folder on your iPhone, or whatever device you run it, and then basically gets that little HTML file and shows it in a web view. It's a fun little strategy for showing data with things like images and other text that Shortcuts doesn't have a great built-in way to display, but you can just create kind of a mini website. Next, well, you can search for GIFs in your text messages, maybe things like Instagram comments. If you just want to search for a GIF wherever you are on your iPhone, this shortcut is going to ask you for a prompt. You can put in however many words you would like there. It's going to show you a bunch of results from Giphy. Choose the GIF you want, and then it's just going to put that GIF on your clipboard. Now I can go over to my text messages and just tap paste, and it'll put it there. And once you send it, it will actually be the full GIF. But because it's on your clipboard, now you can put it in something like an email. Just paste right here while you're composing a message. The GIF is there in your email. Want to send it in Slack? Just paste, and when you send it, it'll be an animated GIF. Next, these two shortcuts really work well running from the control center because they're based on the current app. It will jump you to the current app's storage settings or the current app's notification settings. So let's say you're back here in Messages and you want to see how much storage the Messages app is taking up. Well, if I run this shortcut, it hides the control center automatically, gets the current app on screen, and then it's going to send me to the iPhone storage settings. It has to load all the apps, so it's going to sit here just for a second, but once all the apps pop in, then it'll jump directly to the app that you were on. Now that those storage settings are loaded, I can go to something like Instagram. Follow me there at Steven Robles, just hit 40K. I'll run the same shortcut, and it will jump me directly to the storage settings for the Instagram app. And I can see it's taking up almost 5 gigs. That's the Get Current App Storage shortcut, but you can also jump to the current app's notification and other settings. So if we're back here in Instagram, I'll run the Go to Current App Settings, and that's going to send me directly to that app settings pane. You can adjust privacy, connectivity, and one tap away to actually adjust that app's notifications. Again, these shortcuts will work in any app, so if I'm here in Messages, run the same shortcut, it'll jump me to the Messages settings, and I can adjust the notifications here. Next, a request in the community was they want to review notes that haven't been adjusted or changed in the last year, and then choose whether to keep that note, review it, or delete it. Well, what this shortcut does is we'll check for notes that haven't been modified in the last year. It's going to show you each note with a quick look. So here's an old note. Once I see what that note actually has in it, then I can choose to either review it, which will add a tag. I can choose to keep the note, which does nothing, or I can even choose to delete the note right here from the shortcut. Create a specific tag that you want to use for those reviewed notes, something like review, and then just tap here to add that tag to each note that you choose to review. Next, sometimes you see a sound or a reel or maybe even a TikTok that has something you want to use as a ringtone or maybe even an alarm. Well, this shortcut will actually take a screen recording that you've captured and then create it as a ringtone. So let's say I'm here on Instagram and I'm watching a reel. I would turn up the volume to make sure it actually does this consistently, but let's do a quick screen recording. It'll go down to 0. All right, now let's actually stop that screen recording. That's on my camera roll now. I'll go over and run this shortcut. Now I can choose that screen recording right here. I can actually trim it if I want to shorten it up, just get the sound that I want. You can always preview it hitting this play button here. And then when I tap save, it's actually going to convert the video that I trimmed into an audio file. It's going to allow me to name it. I'll just call this real audio for now. And then the share sheet's going to come up. And one of the options in the share sheet since iOS 26 is just use as ringtone. Then it will actually add that as a ringtone right here. See, my real audio is what I named it. The way to add it to the calendar, like tapping. And you hear the real audio. And once you save a ringtone like that, if you go to your clocks to one of your alarms, you can now have the sound be what you just created. So you'll see my real audio and other reels that I've saved. You can use that as your get up alarm sound as well. Last few here, a request in the community was to get something on the clipboard, detect the language, translate it to English, show that translation, ask for a reply, and then translate that to the original language. For some reason, the detect language doesn't work in this last action, so you do have to physically choose what language you want to translate back to. But now if I have something on my clipboard that's in another language, I can run this shortcut. It shows me the translation right here. It's going to ask what my reply is, and I'll say it's just around the corner to the left. Tap done. It'll translate that and then add it to my clipboard right there. Next, someone else in the community asked about the toggling unknown callers through shortcuts. Unfortunately, they have not added the screen calling action here in shortcuts, so you can just toggle or turn silence unknown callers on or off. So that is still an action that exists. Unfortunately, it doesn't have that screen callers option, but I'll still link that down in the description so you can find that action quickly. Next, someone in the community wanted to be able to take screenshots quickly, save it to an album, and then not even have to deal with that preview screen. Well, here in this shortcut, just choose your album right here, if you have one specifically for screenshots, and then put this somewhere like in your control center. This is take screenshot, save to album. Then wherever you are on your phone, just run this shortcut. It will hide the control center, take the screenshot, save it to your photos, and then you don't have to do anything else. If I jump to photos, there's the screenshot right here. And finally, I get various requests for different expense tracking type shortcuts. So this is another version. This is all based on asking from a menu. So it's going to ask what you bought, the price, how to categorize it, and this also includes subcategories. So put the top level categories in this text block like food, office, transport, And then under each of those, you'll see these subcategories like if the main category is food, choose one of these options. If it's office, choose one of these. Then it's going to take all that information you put, including the categories, and actually add it to a number spreadsheet called business expenses. This version will also get the current year and the current month, so you could technically have this go to different worksheets and tables depending on how you format your number spreadsheet. So when you run it, it'll ask when was it purchased. It'll automatically default to today's date and time. What was the cost? We'll say $25. What was it for? We'll say it was a ride to the conference. Which one? This is transport. If this was a taxi or Uber, tap OK. And it's going to add that as a row to the bottom of our spreadsheet right here. Date of the transaction, the category, and remember to have all your columns in your spreadsheet actually match what's in the shortcut. But you can play around with that. This one doesn't use Apple Intelligence and it's not based on like a receipt photo. This is just asking you the numbers, how much it was, and the categories. All right, I think that was 20 total new shortcuts with some really powerful ones there at the beginning. And again, if you want even more shortcuts content, you can join my shortcuts community at shortcut.bot, scan the QR code or go to that link. Help us get to 4,000 members, but if you join and become a member, you're supporting me personally in this channel, but you also get access to all my shortcuts of the week, weekly live streams, and you can watch all those past live stream recordings right now. They're there in the community. And you can watch every one of my YouTube videos with no sponsors in the middle and no ads. That's available right now to current and new members of the community. So thank you for that, shortcut.bot. I'll leave a couple of the videos right here that YouTube thinks you'll like. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. And thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.